biggest in the history of California. I think, has anything bigger than that happened in the whole country ever? It looks like, I don't want to say what it looks like, but you know what I'm going to say. It looks like something hit it. And we won't talk about what hit it, but it is a bad, bad situation.
Globalization is over, and we're taking Davos down with it. Trump went to Davos and dictated to them. Boost spending on defense, cut corporate taxes, because he's establishing a new world order. America is no longer duty-free.
Is covered on CNN. What you're saying, this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah.
This is CNN. This is the news. We're asking you to come on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim.
Joe Biden to give pardons to everybody but him. They wanted to take care of. Yeah, but Sean, they wanted to. I don't care.
They're yelling at me.
This is more important because right now the economy is going to do great.
I want to know about
I'm here so
will you investigate these assassination attempts? And you stated that you will release the files, all of the files, as it relates to the JFK assassination. And by the way, this is his desk.
Yeah, that's right.
This is where John Kennedy, little
John Kennedy. That's a movable door.
Yeah.
It's a little door there. That's where John was.
John, yeah. And RFK. And also Martin Luther King Jr., and that you will be transparent. This was going to happen in the first
So many
time.
people have asked me to do that. And I did it with Kennedy to an extent. But I was asked by some of our government officials not to. And, you have to respect them. I was actually asked by Mike Pompeo, who's Secretary of State, not to. And I felt he knew something that maybe, when he asks you not to, you sort of say, why? And he felt that it was just not a good time to release him. And you might ask him why. Maybe he'll deny that even. But he did. He asked me. And some others also, though. They didn't want the Kennedy stuff released. Yeah,
right, my
he
last
liked
question
me, and I got along with him.
Your staff is going to kill me, and I don't want to get. I have friends here.
Fine. I'm not Obama.
You're not Joe either.
I'm not Joe. No, they had very strong rules. Obama's staff, too. They stopped him from speaking. And Joe, they usually didn't let him start. No, they're fair.
That's the best part of the interview right there.
I was covering Biden at the time, and I remember coming to my editor and saying, hey, we need to write about the Hunter Biden laptop. And I was told this came from on high at Politico. Don't write about the laptop. Don't talk about the laptop. Don't tweet about the laptop.
Politico responded in a statement to Primetime saying, quote, it's BS. Former Democrat donor Nicole Shanahan joins me now. How are you, Nicole?
I'm very good, Jesse. How are you doing?
I am great. Tell me about how the media has digested the Trump presidency so far.
Well, I mean, the left-wing media, the mainstream media is in a tizzy.
The president also making good on his promise to demolish globalism. He has already removed the U.S. from the destructive Paris Climate Accords. Those accords say China and India are developing nations. He also withdrew our country from the horrendous global minimum tax, the WHO. He's again moving at lightning speed. Today, during his speech in front of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, the president vowed to always put America first, and he delivered a powerful blow to the censorship-loving elites. Take a listen to this.
I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly.
Now, the president, he also used that speech to call out someone sitting in the very room in Davos, Bank of America's CEO. According to a 15-state coalition, the Bank of America has discriminated against Americans for political and religious reasons. The Attorney General of Virginia also accused the bank of, quote, voluntarily cooperating with the FBI, the U.S. Treasury under Biden to profile conservative and religious Americans as potential domestic. And here is what President Trump had to say to the bank's CEO. Take a listen to this.
By the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank, and that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives, because what you're doing is wrong.
The World Trump Forum, 47 giving the bug-eating globalists at Davos a good roundhouse kick to the face as he beamed in virtually to address the World Economic Forum. Roll it, Sven.
I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. There will be no better place on earth to create jobs, build factories, or grow a company than right here in the good old USA. My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. If you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff. I terminated the ridiculous and incredibly wasteful Green New Deal. I call it the Green New Scam. Withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord.
And a big win for the tariff titan. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon is seeing the upside of not letting the world rip us off.
Look, I look at tariffs, they are an economic tool. That's it. They're an economic weapon, depending how you use it and why you use it and stuff like that. And, people argue, is it inflationary and non-inflationary? I would put in perspective, if it's a little inflationary, but it's good for national security, so be it. Get over it.
Ooh. Wow, it's like speaking to Harold. Hey, Jesse, I'm going to use a food analogy.
I'm already hungry.
Isn't Donald Trump like salt? You add it to every meal and it gets better. So you throw him at the WEF and it's like appetizing. It's fun to watch. You're kind of like truffle oil, where you overpower and you ruin every meal.
He's also committed to securing our borders. Look at this headline, quote, border encounters drop sharply as Trump launches crackdown on illegal immigration. I think he said he was going to do that. Now, of course, that crackdown does include deportations. Take a look.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. He's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
I think he's going back to Haiti. Now, Donald Trump has empowered immigration and customs enforcement to do their job in all 50 states. Yep, even sanctuary states and cities. He also declared a national emergency at the border.
So I hooray him. I give him the best. Where I disagree with him, I'll say it, but where I agree with him, he should keep going.
We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America Last globalists and the deep state, the Pentagon, the State Department, and the national security industrial complex. One of the reasons I was the only president in generations who didn't start a war is that I was the only president who rejected the catastrophic advice of many of Washington's generals, bureaucrats, and the so-called diplomats who only know how to get us into conflict, but they don't know how to get us out. For decades, we've had the very same people, such as Victoria Nuland and many others just like her, obsessed with pushing Ukraine toward NATO, not to mention the State Department support for uprisings in Ukraine. These people have been seeking confrontation for a long time, much like the case in Iraq and other parts of the world, and now we're teetering on the brink of World War III. I think I had a great relationship with the military, basically, but I didn't like certain people. I would have gotten them out if I thought, if the election was different, I would have fired, all of them quickly. Most of them I did fire. Biden should have fired every military person involved with Afghanistan. He should have had a lot of firings. If you look at him, he told Israel not to do anything, and at least Israel's not going to look at a bomb the way they would have been. Think if they listened to Biden. They'd be waiting for a bomb to drop on their head right now. He's been wrong about so much. I guess you'd have to say that she's been wrong too, because, she always said they made the decision together. But Israel didn't follow his advice. And I think it was a very, the Middle East is rapidly changing. There are prophets that say the world will come to an end in the Middle East. You know that, right? And we have weapons today that are so scary. When you look, I rebuilt them all. And when you look at the weapons we have today, the biggest threat we have in the world today is nuclear weapons. And we have other weapons, too, that are devastating. But the nuclear weapons, the biggest threat we have in the world today, and that's what I was talking about de-escalation with both China and Russia. I'm telling you, we were going to de-escalate. They were going to de-escalate. You got to be careful. It's a little tricky playing with them because they say we're going to do it and they don't do it, maybe. But they understood the curse, too. It's a curse. It's China's way behind us, but they'll catch us within 5 years.
So let's imagine, let's say you win in November. What do you do differently, and how do you change this course that it seems we are on for World War III? How do you get us out of Ukraine? How do you stop what's going on in the Middle East? How do you put a stop to this?
Well, it's a very... to me, it's an easy question because I think I can do it easily, but it's a complex question in the sense that the times change. Every day changes. Who's winning, who's not winning? I mean, Russia's a war machine. Whether you like it or not, it just grinds along. You speak to people like Viktor Orban, he'll tell you it's just a big, fat war machine, and that's what's happening. You look at what's happened to Ukraine. If I were there, it would have never happened.
But what could you do now? If you get into office in January, what could you do now? Right
now, you would get both of them. I know both very well. And again, I do not want to tell you, for the purpose of looking smart to 5 people that say, oh, he was great. Because if I told you exactly what I do, I could never make the deal. All I can tell you is that I would meet with Putin and I would meet with him, and I know exactly what I'd say to each one of them. And I believe that as president-elect, I would get that war stopped, and stopped fast. We have tremendous power in the United States if you know how to use the power. I stopped other wars just by the use of tariffs. I got Macron of France. Good guy's like a friend of mine, but he's a wise guy. And he's a person that likes France, and he was going to tax our companies. I sent all the smartest guys. I sent Mnuchin, and they all failed me. And I said, I'll do it myself. And I called him. I said, Emmanuel, you're taxing American companies. We're not going to allow you to do that. Oh, Donald, I cannot do it. There's nothing I could do. It's already been passed. I said, Emmanuel, if you do that, I'm going to put 100% tariff on your wines and champagnes that come into the United States, and you're going to regret that you ever did it.